Welcome into the Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we have the latest Baltimore Ravens news and rumors, talking about DeAndre Hopkins, the running back position, and also a potential contract extension for one of your favorite players. We'll go over all of that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, it is my birthday coming up this weekend, and I'm not asking for any gifts, any presents, anything like that. The one thing I want is for you to subscribe to the channel. That's the best present I could ever ask for. We are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers here on the channel. We are less than 400 away from doing so. So, if you subscribe today, then for free, you will get daily news and rumors segments. We do live shows from time to time, watch parties for some of the marquee games in the NFL season. More subscribers, we get more content we can bring you. Simple as that, folks. So, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel for free today. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. The latest happening is on your favorite team. They're covered right here on Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. Subscribe for free today. You'll be glad you did. Let's start with DeAndre Hopkins. He was released by the Arizona Cardinals today, and if you were watching this show earlier in the week, then you would have heard we told you, first and foremost, that this was a possibility, that the trade market was kind of non-existent for DeAndre Hopkins, and it looked increasingly likely that the Cardinals were just going to release him and not pay him his non-guaranteed $19+ million. So now he's a free agent. Here's more from ESPN's Adam Schefter on where he could possibly end up. Shefty tweeting, on a recent appearance on the I Am Athlete podcast, free agent wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins listed the 5 QBs he'd like to catch passes from the most. The Bills' Josh Allen, the Eagles' Jalen Hurts, the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes, the Ravens' Lamar Jackson, and the Chargers' Justin Herbert. Now, as far as the prospects go of bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, if you can find the money to make this work and bring him in, you do it. And I know what you may be thinking already. Isn't the wide receiver room all of a sudden in Baltimore pretty crowded? Yeah, it is. You have Rashad Bateman healthy, finally. Obviously, you paid that money for OBJ. You used the first-round pick on Zay Flowers. You also brought in Nelson Aguilar. But the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. What is it the Golden State Warriors say? Strength in numbers, right? Strength in numbers here. If you can get D-Hop, if you can find a way to pair him up with Lamar and bring him in and make the money work for you, do it. Why not? Here is more from that conversation that DeAndre Hopkins had on the I Am Athlete podcast. I love Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is one of my favorite athletes I've been watching in sports. Obviously, he's one of the greats, and I would be lying to sit here and say it wouldn't be an honor one day, if my career allows me, to play that long, to play with a great guy and a great QB like Lamar. The numbers from DeAndre Hopkins. Missed the first 6 games of 2022 after testing positive for PEDs, but still went on to have a decent season with 64 catches, 717 yards, and 3 touchdown catches. 2021 had 8 touchdown grabs that season. You go back to 2020, though, that's when he had 1,400 yards and 6 touchdowns. Obviously, he's not the same receiver that he was a couple years ago, but he is still very, very good and wants to play with Lamar. Sign me up. Let's see the Ravens make it happen. Will DeAndre Hopkins end up signing with the Ravens? This is our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break, if so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Tell me what you think one way or the other. Will the Ravens get DeAndre Hopkins? Y for yes, in for no. Let me know in the comments section below. So the Ravens are going through a running back supply shortage of sorts already. Not ideal, right? We heard reports out of OTAs this week of guys already sitting out and some issues that have been going on. And this isn't anything new for Ravens fans, as we've seen the running back room be depleted over the last couple of years with the injuries that have stacked up. And it was talked about a lot over this offseason whether or not the Ravens should add another running back, whether it be in the draft or free agency, trade. Ultimately, what the Ravens decided upon was basically to go with what they got with J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill kind of leading the way. Now, one player of note, who you can see on that depth chart, Keaton Mitchell, who the Ravens signed as an undrafted free agent, is kind of the guy to watch that could be sneaky good potentially for this Baltimore Ravens team. He could be the savior of sorts and very well might find his way on the 53-man roster potentially. Keaton Mitchell, undrafted out of East Carolina, where he was not one but a two-time first-team All-American Athletic Conference selection in 2021 and 2022. Last season, he was fantastic. I have no idea why this guy didn't get drafted, because he should have been. He had 201 carries, close to 1,500 yards, 14 touchdowns, and averaged 7.2 yards per carry. He was awesome last year. Watch out for Keaton Mitchell. Let's see if he can make the roster and if the Ravens will turn to him. If they don't turn to him, one idea that was put out there by LastWordOnSports.com was the Ravens could sign J.D. McKissic, formerly of the Washington Commanders, that's a possibility for that running back room to get another body involved. Here's more from Last Word on Sports. McKissic is coming off a neck surgery last year, but prior to that had been very durable. Draft Sharks has given him a 9% chance of injury in 2023, which is very low. While he has never had a primary role, he is an excellent change of pace back and is a good receiving threat. The numbers from J.D. McKissic, not anything too fantastic last year. As we mentioned, the limited playing time he had. 22 carries, 95 rush yards, did have 27 receptions for 173 receiving yards. And he's been a journeyman, playing for the Falcons, the Seahawks, Lions, and the Commanders, so does have a decent amount of experience for the former UDFA in 2016 out of Arkansas State. So if the Ravens do feel the need to go ahead and get a running back, there is still options. Guys like J.D. sitting out there. Also, Keaton Mitchell. Let's see if he can develop. With that said, what do you think about J.D. McKissic? Should the Ravens sign him? Should they bring him in? Tell me in the comment section. S for sign, P for pass. What do you think? Should the Ravens sign J.D. McKissic or not? Let me know. Last thing before we wrap up, what about an extension for Broderick Washington? Could that be in the works? The folks at Ebony Bird are suggesting that the Ravens should extend their nose tackle. Here's more from what Ebony Bird had to say. When you look at the depth on the Ravens line, they should probably extend him. They will need to extend Justin Matabuke as well, but these two are the only trusted linemen moving forward as of now. Building around Washington and Matabuke as their young interior rushers is probably the best bet for the Baltimore Ravens. Washington, a former fifth-round pick back in 2020 out of Texas Tech, and he played in all 17 games last year, starting in 9. And the numbers, not bad for Washington last year. 49 tackles, 1 sack, and 6 passes defended. His contract right now, as he enters this final year of his rookie deal, he's not going to make that much. It's a little over $1 million. And if you were to extend him right now, you're not going to have to pay him a whole lot of moolah either. Of what he would probably go for, I think, is going to save you a lot now to pay him rather than wait till next offseason when the cap goes up and everything and put him on the open market like that. So I think if you're the Ravens, I would say that I have seen enough that I would go ahead and sign him now so it doesn't cost you more down the road later. I agree with this suggestion to go ahead and get this deal done and have Broderick Washington locked up and get him a new deal and save some money potentially. I think that he's going to have a fine year. He's passed the smell test at this point in time. To me, it makes total sense for Baltimore to do that. Should the Ravens extend Mr. Washington? What do you think? E for extend, D for decline. Tell me what you think in the comment section, one way or the other. E for extend, D for decline. Folks, the 2023 edition of the Summer of Jones is here. What a time it is. I mentioned had a nice kickoff party with some friends last night. I am headed to the nation's capital. Going to be in D.C., just down the road from you Baltimore folks this weekend. Going to enjoy some nice time there to kick off the Summer of Jones. And I want to know, how are you guys spending your summer of Jones? Here's what I want you to do. Tweet me your summer plans, pictures, videos, whatever you're up to, on Twitter at Tyler Jones Live. Use the hashtag Summer of Jones, and I would love to hear from you guys there. And maybe we can meet up this weekend in D.C. potentially. Tell me what I should do in D.C. Let me know in the comment section some of the spots, some of the food places or whatever it may be that I need to hit up in D.C. Let me know. Also going to be in Nashville, Chicago, Phoenix. Going to be a really fun next couple of weeks as we embark on another Summer of Jones ahead. I'll see you next time. Have a great Memorial Day weekend and enjoy yourself. Appreciate you joining us here on the Ravens Rundown.